Hylians! If you've been around my channel for a while, you might know that I love Zelda villains. When a new game is announced, one of the things I look forward to most is seeing the villain for that game, and along with that, I'm always really excited to hear that villain's theme. I feel character themes are very important to add to a character, and many times villains get some of the best and most memorable in their games. So today I want to go through and count down my top 10 favourite Legend of Zelda villain themes. I have 2 rules for this list. Rule 1 is the character obviously has to be a villain, and Rule 2 is no boss themes. The theme must be their character theme. If the character theme is used in a boss theme, then I may also mention it. Also, before we move on to the list, let me just say that this list will contain spoilers related to the villains for a number of different Zelda games. So if you see a character from a game that you haven't finished yet, please keep that in mind. Talking about villains can often lead to some pretty big spoiler territory. So with all of that out of the way, let's get this list started with number 10. When it comes to Zelda villains, Yuga is one of my favourites. He'd definitely be close to the top of my list, which is why I feel a little bad putting him so low on this list. But when it comes to villain themes, Yuga's main theme sadly isn't too impactful. The tune is memorable and the droning in the background definitely gives you a sense of dread that tells you that this guy is bad news. And I do like it. But comparing it to Yuga's character, I just don't think it really fits him all that well. Yuga is a very flamboyant character with a lot of personality. He's literally a colourful character. He's a painter who's dressed in bright purple and has bright orange hair, and the theme just doesn't capture any of that bright personality in my opinion. The theme again is a theme that I like and I do think is memorable, but because it doesn't fit his character and isn't as memorable as others on this list, my boy Yuga's going down to number 10. Now, if this was his battle theme though, things would be very, very different. The Zelda series sadly doesn't have all that many female villains, so when one does come along it's always a really nice surprise. The theme Veran Appears plays when Veran appears. This is very early on in the game, meaning it will be one of the first tracks that you hear when playing Oracle of Ages. But it's also sadly a theme many seem to forget about, kind of like the villain herself. Some may not see it as her main theme, but saying all other themes used for her are shared between her and Onyx, and this one is unique to her, I've always seen it as her own theme song, even if it doesn't play every time that she's around. It's a very catchy tune, perfect for the sinister Sorceress of Shadows, that still sounds great even coming from the Game Boy speaker. But there is one way it could sound better. If Nintendo went ahead and finally remade the Oracle games, I'd love to hear this redone with an orchestra. So some of you might not even agree with this character even being included on this list, as he is redeemed later in the story. But for the most part of the game, he is portrayed as a villain, and so I wanted to include him. Byrne's theme is probably the most different out of all the themes on this list. There's no sinister feeling hidden within the track or sense that this guy is bad like others on the list. It's actually a pretty calming theme. But even when he is acting the villain, it still fits him very well. Byrne is a character who betrayed others for his own selfish goals of becoming powerful, but still seems like a character who isn't exactly evil. He's just doing what he feels he needs to do to gain the power he wants, even if the things he needs to do are bad. The theme holds a sense of respect, something I feel Byrne himself feels, as even though he has betrayed people for his own goals, when it comes to a fight he doesn't fall into cheap tricks and fights them with respect, even if he sees that person as a lesser foe. We see this with both Alfonso and Link. He might look down on them and see them as weak, but he has a sense of respect for them for even trying to attempt to fight him. And now we go from one end of the spectrum all the way to the complete other. Majora's theme is uncomfortable. I've listened to this theme so many times, and still every time I listen to it, I still get chills. It perfectly fits them, and I love it. Unlike many other Zelda villains whose main goal is power, the Triforce, or taking over a land or kingdom, Majora just wants to hurt people. And not just one person like Link or Zelda. It wants to kill everyone in the land of Termina for no other reason than, why not? It's simply evil because that's what it is. It's nothing more than evil. Hell, it's controlling and manipulating a lonely child to help them do it. Majora is nothing else but evil, and this theme 100% captures that. It's chilling, unsettling, and uncomfortable. All things I think you'd feel if you came face to face with the pure power of this mask. Now, yes. Asta is from Age of Calamity, which technically isn't a Legend of Zelda game, but this is my list, and I think his theme's very deserving of being a part of it. Plus, he was around 100 years ago, so he could somehow turn up in the sequel? Maybe? Asta is a character who I see as having two sides to him. The calm, collected, and confident side that he presents himself as most of the time, and the obsessed, manipulative, and unhinged side that slips out now and then leading up to the end of the game, where it's in full view. This guy knows what he wants, he knows how to get it, and he will not let anything get in his way of reaching it, even if that means turning on the ones helping him. The two parts of his main theme I feel fit so well with how I see this character. The music box opening representing his calm and confident persona, and the harsh strings representing his true unhinged dedication to his goal. It's a really great memorable theme that definitely fits with this creepy, mysterious seer. And I have to also mention how good it sounds in his battle theme, as when it plays, it sounds so powerful. The theme Battlefield of Demise is such a great but underrated track. Some might not count it as Demise's main theme, but as the theme simply known as Demise is his battle theme, and this one is the first new track used for his true form, I've always seen it as his main character theme. Demise is the Demon King, and because of him, all hatred and evil we see throughout the Zelda series is created. It's because of his curse that Zelda, Link, and the embodiment of his hatred will forever be connected in a cycle with no end. We first, and only, hear this theme play before the final fight of Skyward Sword, and it's a moment just between Link and Demise. The scene in general is great, but the music really adds to it. This is the Demon King that we've been trying to stop from being brought back this entire game, and now he's here in front of us. And if we don't stop him, the world is doomed. I love how the theme starts off fairly calm, but still feels really powerful because of the instruments that are being used, and the theme slowly keeps ramping up in power and tension as it continues. I also love the use of a certain other character's theme being brought in towards the end, showing us through the music the connection Demise has to them, if you somehow couldn't already tell between his design and personality. So we're back with another Game Boy villain, meaning that just like Veran, and even more so with him because of how much higher he is on the list, we need a remake of Minish Cap so we can hear this theme in all its glory. Honestly, I don't really know what to say on this theme. It's just one I've always loved ever since first hearing it as a kid. Vaati is a great villain, one I wish we could see again someday, and his theme just works so well with him. Whenever it started playing, I always got excited when playing Minish Cap. One, because I knew Vaati would turn up and it's always fun seeing the game's main villain, and two, it's just really catchy. And when we first meet Vaati, if you didn't catch on from his evil laughing, his theme definitely lets you know, this guy right here. Yeah, him? Yeah, the cute kid in the purple. That guy? Yeah. He's evil. Yeah, that's the bad guy. Well, this is one you might not have expected to be so high on the list. Or you might have. It's probably no surprise to many of you that I think the original DS Zelda games are underrated and forgotten hidden gems in the Zelda series. And when it comes to Spirit Tracks specifically, it has some absolutely fantastic music. But sadly, apart from a handful of main tracks, a lot gets sadly forgotten. One of those themes that always seems to be forgotten is Chancellor Cole's theme, possibly my favourite theme in the whole game. Unlike his partner in crime Byrne, Cole is definitely evil. He's a demon after all, and his theme is going to let you know that. I've always liked how Cole's theme sounded sinister, but also a little goofy, because Cole definitely is evil, and definitely has power that you don't want to mess with, but he's also, well, goofy. He's a very short guy, flying around with a giant smile on his face while laughing about stealing the princess's body to bring back his master. This theme is also used a couple other times in the game in different ways. Sometimes it's slowed down, it was changed and used in one of the final boss fights, but my personal favourite time is when it was changed for a very short moment around the end of the game, where Cole gets betrayed by his master. And for being the moment where Cole gets betrayed and killed by his own master, it's a pretty grand sounding piece of music that I wish was longer. Spirit Tracks was my second ever Zelda game, and with Bellum from Phantom Hourglass before not really having a character theme, I think Cole's theme has stuck with me because of it being the first Zelda theme that I was exposed to, and I say it's a pretty great Zelda villain theme to have be my first. I have always loved Girahim's theme. I actually remember when Skyward Sword was first shown, trying my hardest to listen over all the background talking to hear his theme playing in the videos of people playing the demo fight with him at E3. Ghirahim is a very flamboyant character who definitely hams up his appearances throughout the game. Like he's putting on a show, whether that be exaggerating his movements, the way he talks to Link, or him just casually dancing. He's a character that you might expect to have a more upbeat theme to fit with his very vibrant personality, but instead Girahim has a very slow theme. And somehow, this just works really well with him. He is a little silly in the way that he acts, but there's always this very creepy undertone to him. He will try to kill you. That's the only reason he's sticking around longer than he really needs to. Ghirahim is also a very powerful character, both with his strength and his position as both Demise's blade and the Demon Lord who controls most of the monsters on the surface. And so for a character with that much power and control, I feel the theme really fits him. The music also adds to the uncomfortable feeling Ghirahim can give off. He acts in a way which a lot of the times is drastically different from the words he's saying. And this only gets worse each time you fight him. As each time you fight him, he gets more and more angry, with us constantly getting in the way of him. He might be smiling at you and he might be doing some weird stuff that makes you laugh, but he's also a character that says he wants to make your ears bleed by the sound of your own screams. I should also mention his boss themes, as they also work off of his main theme and are fantastic, each being more upbeat versions of his normal theme that work with him showing off his skills and power. There's not much more I can say. I love Girahim's theme. It unexpectedly fits his character and makes him seem even more strange and creepy, even when he's dancing around Zelda. I don't think I could have put any other theme above this one. Now yes, I know I am a very, very big Ganondorf fan, but this is strictly for the theme itself. It's a short but simple tune that just works every time it's used, no matter what game it's in or what instruments are used to play it. And at this point, it's a classic Zelda tune. Ganondorf's theme was first used in A Link to the Past on the SNES as the theme Priest of the Dark Order, and ever since then it's gone on to be used as his main theme, turning up wherever he or his influence can be found. And that's something I love about this theme. It's not just used when Ganon or Ganondorf is on screen, it's also used when he's not, to show his influence or power over an area or person. You hear this theme mixed in with another and you already know what's going on without being told. It's kind of like a calling card at times. For example, with Demise's theme we talked about earlier, Ganondorf doesn't even exist at this point in the timeline, yet they use it as part of Demise's theme to show the connection between them, to show that somehow, Demise and Ganondorf, despite not even being alive at the same time, have a connection. Just take a moment to think about the trailer for Breath of the Wild's sequel, for example. We were shown a character who had some connections to the Gerudo and did have red hair, but apart from that looked nothing like what we've seen Ganondorf look like before. But because in that trailer they mixed his theme into the background of the main music, it confirms who he is. Again, it's such a short and simple theme. You hear his theme and you know what it means. And I think that's the main goal of a character theme, to be an extension of the character. Ganondorf's theme I feel does this the most in the series and also the best in the series, because no matter what game you play, when you hear that theme, you think of Ganon. And so those are my top 10 Zelda villain themes. I've had a lot of fun making this list and I plan to do more theme related countdowns on other characters and topics soon. Tell me down below what you guys thought of my list, and also don't forget to tell me your own top 10 villain themes down in the comments below. I'd love to see how different or similar they are to my own. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of today's video. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!